Hello. Welcome back to the Master and the Noob podcast. I'm the Master.
I'm the noob.
Thanks for having best Master in the land. So this is another week or something. It's not just 5 minutes since we did the last podcast. And Sophie now wants to talk about impossible tattoos, right? Go.
Right, impossible tattoos.
Yes.
Well, you suggested this. Okay.
No, so Sophie's been showing me some tattoos off Instagram of some people, sometimes who are Japanese, sometimes who are English. Like
They tend to most of the time be Asian, and not Japanese. I've seen like mostly Chinese and Korean artists.
Right, okay. Well, I know that Sarah, one of my friends, she sent me pictures to try and get tattooed. When she was more ego-based, for sure. Because she's like, oh, I would love to get this. And it was like a tiny grey, like black and grey swimmer that's like diving into some water. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, that tattoo's impossible to do, by the way. And she's like, well, it's been done there. And I'm like, show me it 6 months' time. Honestly, it's not a tattoo that'll stay. It's like cool for an Instagram post, but it's not cool for a body. Like what we talked about. So yeah, also, by the way, sorry about last episode. It was a bit weird. That's why we wanted to give you another one now, just to like say sorry for that one. No, I'm not sorry. You know what?
Don't apologise.
Don't apologise. If it's you, it's you, right? If you think it's you, don't say that. I'm definitely blocking that one out. So Sarah sent that, what was it? Impossible tattoo. And I said it's impossible. And she's like, well, I'll get someone else to do it then. Sweet. Do that. That was me at the time. She didn't get it done. But some of the ones that Sophie have sent, they're very impressive. Like that you can do this. Like it's amazing that you can do this with needles, but they don't heal like this. Like they have like tiny, tiny details and really crisp lines, but they literally last like 6 months max. Because the body isn't paper. This was the main thing that I wanted to say about it.
Yeah.
It's not paper, and this is not paint. It's like the body reacts differently. You're trying to it's like you're trying to get this stuff in there to heal. So I think like tattoos need to be like, when you first do them, often bigger and darker than you expect, because they spread over time and they fade over time. Mm-hmm. So if you do it too dark, you could do a thing that's like too dark and it heals to perfect, potentially. I remember there was a tattoo that Dean Taylor done when he used to work here. He done this lion tattoo on one day, and I was looking at it thinking like, fucking hell, mate, that's a bit dark, that. It's like, it was mint, but like I remember thinking like, I know that they like lighten, but that one's a bit dark. And then when that came back healed, it was perfect.
Really? And
I'm like, wow, okay, I'm still going too light, and probably still am now, honestly, like when I do that kind of thing. But that's not like so much, that's not as bad, I think, as they're like these impossible tiny tattoos. And it's like they get so popular because they're so impressive.
Yeah, they just look like stickers.
Yeah, they look like stickers. They like got this like, you know, sometimes they have these like that one that you just showed me there, that mandala-y kind of one. Yeah. It's got like soft like, it's like yellows and blues and soft like blends on it and stuff like this. And then blends, it's literally that blend. I'm gonna have to post this. Like, no offense to the person who's done it. Like, and it's like, you maybe, you know, if you make your own podcast, if you want to tell us that was wrong. But I would like to see it like healed, because that white's not in solid up there. And this like blue blend, honestly, with that, when I zoom in on that, you can see that most of that's going to drop out. The line's going to stay in. That line at the end there, and I'm going to like put this on the thing and I'll outline it. That line at the end there, is that a screenshot? Can you screenshot that? Oh, you have to do the bottom of that, okay. That line at the end there, that's going to blow out for sure. This bit of the line here is probably going to be okay, but it might drop out a little bit. This line that comes down there, that's going to go completely. Most of this colour is going to go completely. You can see the patches where it's going to stay with some colour, but that like nice soft blend, yeah, it looks cool for an Instagram. It gets you a nice 10,000 likes. But then, like, how many likes has it actually got?
I have to go on the actual Instagram.
Oh, right, okay.
That'll be quick.
Gets you loads of this kind of thing, but it doesn't stay on the person. Like when that's healed, it's like it's the same shape-ish or whatever, but like most of the colours are gone.
3,400.
Yeah, like people like it, but this is, you know, when we're talking about the people who don't know what they're looking at necessarily, it's mostly them people.
Yeah.
And also people go, oh, that's impressive, click, scroll past. They've looked at it for half a second, because that half a second it looks impressive, but the person who's got that on has it on for the rest of their life. Mm-hmm. Well, they won't, because they'll get it covered, obviously.
There's some
I know that's harsh to say, but it's true, unfortunately.
There's some healed ones. The ones I saw that were really impressive were these like they look like bookmarks kind of thing.
Yeah, they're cool. Give me a look at this one. Let's break that one down as well. By the way, I'm very willing to break my own tattoos down as well. Like, if I had some pictures of these, I would, and I'll do the same thing, but it's how you learn, really.
Yeah.
So what did we say the other day when we looked at this? The corners, these nice crisp corners that it's got on the edges, they're not staying crisp. They're going to round off as it heals. That yellow looks pretty solid there, honestly.
Will the black just...
That black in amongst them little flowers on the top of there, they're going to spread. So it's like a Japanese thing with a crane. This is just in case we put this on as audio only anywhere. Them lines, I don't know if them lines amongst that crane are grey lines or they're no lines, but white doesn't stay white, so that's going to be kind of a yellowish crane, or when it drops out, like that little curl up there, that's going to just blob out because it looks like that's been done quite deep.
Alright.
The nice crisp edges on the end of that crane's like thing are probably going to drop out because they don't look like they're in mega solid. But it's like, really, it just needs to be done bigger. Mm-hmm. If that was done bigger, like, and the person had, like, because they can get their black in, that black's like crisp as out, and the white's very crisp, and the yellow is very crisp. Yellow's kind of a weak colour though to stay in, but them gaps are too small. Honestly, like, this is one of the things I used to say to people when I'm like teaching. If you can't, if the detail is too small to do with a 7-liner, it's probably too small to do. Like, if you have to do, like, say you do script on someone and you do it with like a 3-liner so you can get it extra small. Like, I've seen so many of them when they come back. The eye there, you've got to do it so light that it drops out, or it blows out, and all the holes in the E's, like, in the O's and the, like, you know, all the G's and all the letters that have got a little circle in, they close up to just like solid nothing if you go like the right depth to make it stay.
What does white end up like if it's blown out? Can white be blown out? I was thinking that's a stupid question.
Any colour could blow out. I think like blowouts. What are we talking blowouts? Are we talking like
too deep? I guess
it goes too deep and it spreads under the skin.
Yeah,
it's very unlikely for white to do that because the particles are so much thicker. Black is more likely to do that, especially the thinner blacks. And you know those like power colours or concentrate colours? Mm-hmm. You get like green concentrate, blue concentrate, or in infusions it's like power blue or power like green or whatever. Them ones, because they're extra thin and they're really high pigment load, they like blow out the most.
Right.
It's it's almost impossible to line with them and not have a blowout. But white, because the particles are so much thicker, it's very unlikely to blow out like that.
Yeah, they've actually had some. There's a healed one that they did, but you can kind of see how like
you can see already, and that's like it doesn't even look like it's healed for mega long.
It looks like just smudges, I guess. That one's a bit better, I guess.
But they still look cool enough, I guess. But it's not like I bet that looked awesome when it was first done.
Yeah.
And now it's just like, yeah, you could do it bigger. But it'd be cool if they just did it bigger, honestly.
Or if they did like a massive rectangle on someone's back, kind of thing.
Yeah, imagine how good that would look. So another thing with this, like when you do the things bigger, all the details are bigger. So like if you make a mistake, like, you know, the line goes slightly wobbly, if it's that size, you really notice. If it's bigger, you don't notice it either. So you can get like something to look like a proper crisp, like perfect line from like, you know, it'll look like that on the body. When you get up close, it might have like some little like errors on it. Like, but I don't know what I'm saying there about that, because it's like obviously you don't want to get errors on.
Yeah.
But with that stuff, it's very unforgiving. And like a blowout on that, if you have blown it out, it doesn't always look like you've blown it out on the day.
All right.
And sometimes you actually have. On that, you notice it for sure. That's why it goes a little bit blurry like that when it's like when it's healed. But going bigger, they just tend to look better. But like I say, on the last one, we were saying there is like a size where like is the right size. There's a perfect size for it.
Yeah. And
you can go too big, you can go too small. And that's just at the too small end, honestly.
I don't know if this is like a style that they all do kind of thing. Because since it's all like, they're all Asian people, I'm assuming.
Well, it's like, it looks cool. It gets a bit of like a, you know, it gets shared around on Instagram or something, like it gets 1 billion likes, and then all like 1 billion people want it. And then they go to studios and go, oh, can you do this for me? And then some studios go like, sorry, unfortunately, that's an impossible tattoo. Like, I know it exists right now, but it won't exist in like a year. And then they go like, fine, I'll go somewhere else then. It's like, okay.
They all seem to like not have line art, like black line art. All of their lines are in colour. And like, I don't really, I don't follow mega loads of tattoo artists, but I never really see people like line in colour. It's always like black outline. Is that because it just ends up looking better? Or like it heals better?
It's honestly, I think, a design choice. I don't think it's necessarily anything to do with that. Like, in general, like, the colours aren't as good to line with, but it's still possible to do.
Right.
But when you see them healed, like, you do start to see like which, like, black tends to like stay better than colours do. But again, not even every time. Like, it all spreads. Like, all tattoos want to spread. But it depends on what colour as well. Like, what colour you're doing. I know I've seen like some peonies with like yellow outlines and stuff, and it's like, oh, that's cool. But yellow tends to drop out a lot. Although weirdly, I've got some yellow on my leg that's still there after like 15 years. And this was the cheapest crap ink you could get at the beginning. And then I've put like proper good ink in, and it hasn't stayed.
That's weird. I wonder if it's like banned shit, like got uranium in it.
Probably, yeah. I honestly think that. It's like some just I got it off eBay or something. Versus like the ones from the suppliers. But this is, when they're like, they put limits on. This is something that Brent said. Brent McCowan. He's one of my friends from New Zealand, and he does tattoo. But that's the traditional like that stuff. He knows a lot about tattooing, like, because he's tattooed for longer than I've been alive. I meant that.
It's a long time.
No, it's not. So Brent's what did he say now? Yeah, he said like there's some inks that he's got still. Like he started when they used to have to make their own inks.
Yeah.
Like they had to make like their own inks, and they used to do some mental sounding stuff now. Like it sounds insane. Like they used to do like they'd make their own ink, and then my friend Remus, he's an awesome tattoo artist as well. He used to do the same thing because he started tattooing in Lithuania, like just before there was regulations and stuff, I think. So it's like they would make their own needles and their own ink and stuff, and it's like they'd make like. Because I was there listening to them two talk about it, like back in the day, kind of at the same time. And they used to make their like ink in like a pan, just on the stove.
Right.
And you'd mix it all together, and then you'd like book all your like nice soft black and grey pieces at the beginning of the week, and then all your tribals at the end of the week, because the ink had started to evaporate and it was like darker by then. Working out the same pot of ink the whole time and that.
Oh, right.
There used to be like I don't know about these two doing this, but there used to be people where they'd like have just a bucket and a sponge, and everyone got wiped down with the same sponge out of the same bucket, and you'd change the water like the clean studios would do it once a day. Like, do you know what I mean? Use the same needle on people until it goes blunt.
Hope it wasn't the same pan that they used for cooking as well. You bacon in the morning.
Yes. Well, I don't know. If it was always like full of ink, then probably not. But there's some mental stories of that kind of stuff. Like there was some guys, they'd have the designs on the walls, and when you go in, like they would just be like, yeah, next, and it's like you just get a rose. That's what you're getting, kind of thing. And you just sit down, and he just goes, dips in the same ink that's on the last customer with the same needle and the same setup, no gloves, and just goes, no stencil. Just starts drawing this rose straight on your arm.
Hell, what?
It's like, what? And guess what? No one got AIDS from it. No one got AIDS from it. No one got sick from it. And it's like, maybe they're going a bit far with this like stuff. I'm not saying we should drop the hygiene, of course, but maybe it doesn't work how we've been told.
It is very rigorous. Like there's a lot of steps in the current day for it.
Mm-hmm. I think it's, in general, in society in general, it's too far, and that's how we've got ourselves to now, and the way things are going at the moment with the world, not with tattooing necessarily, but like, I guess it seeps into that as well.
It's getting deep.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, let's leave that alone. But so what was this talking about? The inks and then making their own needles. And
is that like a thing you could do now, like making your own ink?
Yeah, and honestly, maybe this is like potentially controversial. We might have to at some point.
Yeah. Because
like Brent's got some inks, like there was a Mickey Sharp's red that was like this awesome, like really bright red. In fact, it's this red that's on my arm there. Because Tinkuru, he mixed it from like Brent's ink. And this one is modern inks, which is supposed to be safer. And this is the one that goes like raised and bumpy and itchy and stuff. And this one with the traditional, less safe inks is fine. Healed perfectly. I've never had a problem with it. So it's like, don't know. And it went in so bright after like it's kind of when the way like Tebori works. That's the Japanese, like that kind of stabby one. The way that works, the needle goes in, and then some of them go in and out, just pushing in and out. But Tenkuru learned like the proper traditional Japanese way, where like he's still an apprentice now, like he's got a master after like 15 years or whatever. And his is like you roll the shoulder, so it's like, and you pivot on the thumb, so the shoulder goes up like that, and you go in. Then when you pivot back out, you actually rip the needles out of the skin, so they go in and then rip out. And they have to use like, our needles. We talked about the needle size. It's like we have like 0.25 or what are they even? 0 gauge or something. I don't know the gauge. Like,
is that the girth of them?
I know. That's the girth of the needles. It goes like, we normally would use zeros, double zeros, and triple zeros are really thin. But then it's like the size of them would be like 3.5, like it's 0.35 inch or millimeter. I don't even know what it is, honestly, but we'd use 0.35s down to 0.25s. So 0.35s would be like the normal ones, 0.3s would be like the double zeros, what would have been called, and then bug pins would have been called triple zeros, which are the 0.25s, maybe 0.2s, I don't know. But there's a 0.5, so they're like way thicker than ours. And you can feel it. I've got some in the cupboard I'll let you have a look at. But that's because you have to do that rip thing. Right. And these needles would bend instead of just like...
It's like stronger than the skin.
Yeah, and it's like I made like one of those Tebori tools out of... the brown wood, what's that called?
Mahogany.
Walnut. I made one out of walnut because I had some and I thought it would be cool to make one. And I'm like, oh, look at this. I've made this thing. And he says, like, yeah, it's too soft. I'm like, oh, really? He goes, yeah, it's got flex at the end. You can't use that. I'm like, right, okay. He goes, this is why we use bamboo for it, because the bamboo is really stiff.
Oh,
and he goes, here, I brought some. I give you them as a gift kind of thing. And I'm like, oh, okay, sweet. I may eventually use them to make one, but I'm not that bothered. It was more like a show thing. I was never really intending to use it.
Yeah.
And he's actually gave me the one that he did this tattoo with, and it's awesome. Like, I love it. It's like, I'll put a picture of it on, but it's like, so the point of, this is how he explained it to me, the point of what they're doing, it's energy based, right? So it's like, you have to put your best intentions into the tattoo. This is why the first time he did it, he made the ink out of the Kurosumi ink, like not just out of a bottle, it's out of a block. And it's like £200 for this block of ink. I don't know how many tattoos that lasts, but it's not loads. And he'd have like, he's got this little plate. It's like a proper thing for this, like a little stone plate thing. He sprays alcohol on it. Then he sits there doing this little figure of 8. Like, and he's kind of meditating at the same time as like scratching this like black like block of ink to mix the ink. And it takes like, honestly, it took him about 45 minutes just to mix the ink for my one tattoo, just to mix the black for that. And he sits there, and the point is, you're supposed to be taking your good energy and putting these good intentions into there. You have to clear your negative energy and put good intentions into there, so the good intentions goes into the client. And when you're making the tool, you have to have that same thing, because this tool is going to be putting energy. They really believe in this energy thing. Like the way he's been taught it, like by a proper, like, he was taught by Horiyoshi 2. And then
is that when they like name...
Yeah, Horiyoshi 2. And then Horiyoshi 3 had an apprentice. Horiyoshi 3 is the one who like kind of brought it more over to the Western world, I guess.
Right.
And he had an apprentice who was called Horiyoshi 4. And then Horiyoshi 2, I think this is me like remembering, and I may be remembering wrong, so if I'm wrong, source. But I think Horiyoshi 1 and what's it now? I can't remember. I think like Hori maybe like tattooist, and then Yoshi was the guy's name. I think it's something like that. So Horiyoshi 1 had an apprentice, and he becomes Horiyoshi 2. And then he had a second apprentice who becomes Horiyoshi 3. And then Horiyoshi 3 is now, he's got an apprentice, but he's like more into this Western world. So I think it's like, I don't know how that fits into I know he's got a lot of respect in the industry, but the way this kind of went for me, I didn't like it. But my friend respects it fully because he understands like that's what that culture's about. But for me, I kind of felt it was a bit bullshit. Because Horiyoshi 2 was my friend's master, and he wanted him to be called Horiyoshi 5.
Mm-hmm.
But for some reason, Horiyoshi 3's decided that that's not going to happen and that he should get to have Horiyoshi 5 or something like that. And it was weird. It was weird. Like, he's just...
Is it like a Japanese thing, or was it just an ego thing? Or?
I feel like it was an ego thing. Because, like, he's the one who's got, like, famous in the magazines and all this kind of stuff. So it's going to have affected that, right? Mm. Like, again, and I'm just claiming this. I'm not trying to claim it. I mean, I'm just, again, speculating. But based on what I've been told, I didn't like the way it went. And I was thinking, like, just call yourself it anyway. Like, literally, like, it's like this guy is being the one who's dishonourable, not you, because you've been given it. You've been, like, handed this name kind of thing. Do you know what I mean? It's like, and
especially by, like, a master. And
yeah, it's a proper thing. But because he was, like, bitching about it, it's kind of like, he just was like, well, I don't want, out of respect for him.
Mm-hmm.
But this is my difference here. Like, he just has to give him the respect automatically because it's that culture where, to me... He naturally gets the respect, but he just lost it.
Yeah.
And at the moment you just lost it, it's like, well, I'm not going to... You don't deserve it now. You don't just get to keep respect regardless of what you do. That's not how it works for me. Honestly, I don't think. But I don't know. It's like, I can't really say what's right or wrong. So he's changed to Kensho the second now. Because I guess that guy's name was Kensho, and he's now Kensho the second. So he's not... I'm assuming Horiyoshi 2 now, he's Kensho 1 now.
Is it like Horiyoshi was their surname, and then they've took on the surname?
I don't know if it's the first name or the surname. I'm not sure.
Because I know like Japanese people have their surname at the front when you're talking to them. I'm guessing.
Well, okay.
Like I'd be called like Jackson Sophie most of the time, unless with like close friends. I'm guessing. Sorry, Japanese people watching.
I know his actual name is Masaharu-san. He's cool as fuck. And he gets it, but he's also willing to like bring some Western things into it. So I don't know if that's kind of partly...
That's why it was like an issue.
Maybe. I'm not saying I don't know that, but I wonder if that's part of it. But I think like it needs to like be able to evolve at some point as well.
That's how you innovate.
Like. But then maybe they're not saying that you can't, but if you want to be called this, you have to keep it the same. So it's like, right, you've got to draw fish like this, and you've got to colour them in like this, and you've got to draw all your dragons after I've like, you know what I mean?
I mean, as long as you've learnt the technique, I feel like that's probably what, if you've mastered the technique, that's when you get your name, rather than like, it shouldn't matter what you do, I guess.
Well, we don't understand their thing, do we?
Yeah, we don't understand, we're just speculating.
So what was we talking about before that?
Impossible tattoos.
No, so it was on about the inks and stuff. Why was I getting onto that? Oh, because he'd used that ink on there.
Yeah.
And he used the red, was from Brent's band... Mickey Sharp's red.
Oh yes.
So I think this is maybe why the cheaper ones have stayed in and the more expensive ones have dropped out, because the more expensive ones are doing regulations because someone written on a bit of paper. There's bits of paper with stuff written on that's ruining all sorts of stuff in there.
You know, like the pigment that you'd get if you wanted to make your own ink?
Mm-hmm.
Is it like come in a bottle or a block or a...
It was powder.
Oh, okay.
Like that thing that Brent had was, he went like when he heard that they were about to ban it, he was like just bought like 5 or 10 of these like tubs of it before it was gone, because he's like, this is never going to be the same, because he was like, because when I've came into tattooing, regulations were already there. When he came in way before that, like way before that. Like there's another story that he told me about one of his friends, and I can't remember who it is. It may be Steve Manching, I don't know how to say his name, but he's funny as well. But these are like from New Zealand. There's like, he was like tattooing in this studio, like they were both apprentices at the same time. So they've known each other for like 20 years by this point of this story that I was saying. And I'm passing on this story, so it's like I might be missing half of it. And I don't know if Brent would watch this anyway. He might do actually. Hi Brent, if you are watching it. Sort your face out, will you? Ugly cunt.
Oh, harsh.
He knows.
Okay.
He is.
I assumed.
He's cool as though.
Yeah, you ugly cunt.
Whoa, that's my friend Brent you're talking about there. How dare you? So I think it was Alla Prima inks. Have you heard of those? Joshua Carlton, I mentioned on the last episode. Him and a guy called John Montgomery, they decided to bring this ink out. A la Prima, because it's like the way they wanted to work. They didn't like some of the brands that were already out, so they've made their own ink and they've brought it out. And they were at this meal, and Brent was there, and this Steve was there. I think it was Steve. If I'm wrong, like whatever, it's some bloke. If I'm wrong, just change Steve for some bloke. But I'm just going to assume Steve and say Steve. So let's assume Steve was there. So they've made this ink. And it's all registered now, it's all official, and it's all legit and stuff like this. So they know for a fact that it has to have the right pigment load in, and it's not allowed to go above the right pigment load. And it has to be food safe, because they didn't know how to regulate it. Yeah. So they just like, it's going in the body, so I guess it's the same as food going in the body. It's not being processed that way. It's being put into the skin just under, like the dermis or whatever, and it's held in place by these collagen fibers to stop it from like moving on while the body figures out what to do with it or something. So it's not being processed in the same way as food. But maybe there's some truth to it. Maybe like you don't want to be injecting too many poisonous things into your body. So I get it. I get why they'd want to make some regulations. But because they know it has to be food safe to be allowed to be made and have this sticker on, this John guy's like, right, so we've made this new ink. We're just about to unveil it. We wanted you to be the first guys to try it out. He puts one on each of their tables. There you go, like that. And it's this black. And Steve's like, nice. Opens it up and just necks it, drinks it like, yeah, it's all right, kind of thing. It's just to take the piss out of it. Because he knows that it's not going to be as dark as his black, because he makes his own black still, kind of thing. Do you know what I mean? It's like, oh God, I thought that was funny. I found that hilarious, because I can see, how serious you would be at like a product unveiling and stuff like that to someone.
You've been invited to like a dinner meeting.
yeah.
So professional.
But he just drinks it.
Was he all right?
Yeah, because it has to be food safe. That was his point.
You must have like a upset stomach after that, at least.
Well, this is bad, but like, we heard that if there's some tattoo studio pranks that sometimes go on. I'm not really interested in them now, because it's a bit like, I don't think it's that funny, honestly, now.
I'm glad.
But yeah, some jokes. Well, honestly, I'm going to laugh at it now. Actually, when I say this, there's a couple of good ones. One is the elusive. Oh no, not the elusive. What's it called? The dreaded, I guess, purple glove. So the way to make a purple glove is you put a glove on inside out, and then, obviously sterilise your hand first, so it's still sterile, so you don't get ants, even though no one has. Sterilise your hand first, right? Put a glove on inside out, then scrumple up a piece of transfer paper, then put it back the right way around, and then put it in your mate's glove box. Ideally, a couple below the top. So then it's like they go in and fucking
that's a good
put this on for a full tattoo, and then they take it off. I did it to Andy Walker once. Andy Walker's an awesome tattooist as well. He works with Matt Lappin, who's also awesome. I'm only friends with awesome tattooists, honestly. So I purple gloved Andy at a tattoo convention.
Oh God!
And because I don't think he'd remembered his gloves, he was borrowing Matt's. Was he borrowing Matt's? Yeah, he's borrowing Matt's gloves, and he'd put two on his table, ready to tattoo with. So when he was gone, for a tab, because he's a smoker, this is what you get. I replaced one of them with a purple glove. So then he, because he's only got the one set of gloves, he just didn't take a break and did the whole tattoo. He did 4 hours with this purple glove on. Then it's when he's setting down, you take it off, and it's like, and I was there when he took it down, and I remember taking the photo. I don't have it now, but it's him just devastated with his purple hand, and it's like, what the But by that amount of time, it's seeped all into your skin, and that stained it properly.
Fingernails, it'll be purple.
Oh yeah, it's all down the side of your fingernails and stuff. And then what was funny was at the end of that. Oh yeah, so he took that one off, and then he did a little bit more on the tattoo, and because he's just not expecting it twice in a row, he went and washed his hand off, and I purple gloved him again on the same day, which I thought was so funny. Then what happened was, after they were finished, Matt was just like, here, take this box of gloves, you just have it or whatever. So as he was packing up, I snuck a purple glove in that box. So then maybe 3 weeks later or 2 weeks later, I get a photo sent through of Andy like that again, because he's got done again. Then I actually, after that, I thought it was so funny. I sent Matt a purple glove in the post, and I said, put this in Andy's gloves, and he got done again. It was like, oh, God.
You had a goon to do it for you.
Yeah, I even sent one down in the post, like, funny. But, you know, I'm not that bothered about doing them now because they're not that funny, really. Like, I know, like, at the time it was like, you know, I did find it hilarious, honestly.
No,
but
I think that's
it's
quite
not
funny.
something that I think is funny now to do. Like, I wouldn't do it to use in here because it's not our kind of humour. We've got, like, I don't know,
it's more sophisticated.
Yeah, sophisticated humour than that. So, after talking about the purple glove thing, though, JJ, who used to work here also, he's an average typist. I'm joking, he's good. He was talking about, like, some people had said that if you put, what's it called? Like those power inks that I was on about earlier, like the concentrated inks into a drink, then it comes out, like your piss comes out that colour. So a girl who worked on the desk at the time, whose name I'm not willing to say, she poured like almost a full bottle of that into a can of Coke or kind of like Dr. Pepper that he'd had or something like this. And he drank it. He's like, that's weird. There's something up with that Dr. Pepper. And it tastes like soily or something like that. And it's like, oh, God. He drank it anyway, but his piss was normal. So all that ink was just in him.
Oh. In his like kidneys or something.
Yeah, probably. It's like he goes and gets a liver transplant at some point. It's like, well, this is purple. Like, weird. I know it's kind of purple anyway, but like, this is like dark purple. And they're like, what's this? It's a new disease we've never seen before. No, actually, it's ink. So yeah.
I wonder how long it stays in your body for like, if it's in your organs. It might not. Your body's probably like, what the fuck's this? Get it out. Might go out in your shit or something.
Yeah, I wonder if we're going to shit.
Because they're like more solid.
Because it's got to come out. He might have had a purple shit. That might have been it. Yeah. I'm not willing to see his shit though. It was a long time ago. Who knows? He might be still having purple shits now. Like it's quite concentrated, that. Another convention. I remember Laith from Killer Inc. He had... there was a guy who worked with them called Andy. I don't know if he still works there now. But I'm sure it was Laith, had these glitter pills, or there was someone coming along with these glitter pills saying like, it makes you have glittery poo. And it's like, this seems cool. And it's all like safe and whatever. And I think it's legit just glitter in like one of those little gelatin tablet things. Right. So this Andy, like they were giggling and making him eat like, I don't know how many of them he had, like 4 or 5 of them or something like that. And I was like, yeah, I'll have a go. I had one. I want a glittery poo. So I had one of them, and like when I had my next poo, it did have glitter in it.
Really?
Like not much, but it would have been interesting to see what his came out like, because it was like he had so many of them.
Is that like microplastic glitter?
Probably. Well, they reckoned it wasn't. They reckoned it was made out of seaweed and some other...
I think you can make glitter out of seaweed, because that's what like Lush do. You know, the bath bomb people. That's what they say. But
hurts my nose going in there.
Yeah, it does.
Lush is a bit much on the old
sinuses. Once, I
like
sniffed a bath bomb.
The olfactory receptors get clogged with horrible smells.
It's I sniffed a bath bomb, and like all of the dust coating that was on it just went to every like square inch of the inside of my nostrils. I was like, ow. You can feel it like up here.
You see like your health bar just go like,
I had a status effect for 30 minutes.
Yeah. You're not able to smell anything for 30 minutes.
I've seen glitter ones like... Should I mention this? I've seen glitter ones where you put them up your fanny as well.
Right.
To like surprise your boyfriend with glitter.
God.
It's like...
Don't do that.
Capsule for a yeast infection.
Yeah. What?
It's just the product of modern...
Yeah, this is like where consumerism goes eventually, isn't it?
Yeah.
God.
I need the dopamine. Just glittery poos, just anything.
Yeah, I need to have a glittery poo right now. Oh, God, there's some weird stuff goes on at conventions, like. Yeah, there was someone coming round with them, like trying to give them to people and that.
Do you get much sabotaging at conventions? Like not funny prank, but actual malicious sabotaging?
Well, there's some stuff been nicked at conventions and stuff. I've had like my phone nicked before in London.
Oh God, really?
Yeah, and like I put it down for like honestly a fraction of a second as well. But this is London, though.
And it's you.
Eh?
It's you as well. Like you lose your phone for like.
Yeah, but it's like I literally was using it for the tattoo. Put it down for a second, then I go to pick it up and it's already gone. Then it's like I went and find my iPhone on like the computer or whatever, and it's like in a park in like Camden or something. I'm like, wow, they must have f***ing ran there. Like, how is it there? It's like last seen there, and it's like, should we go there and have a look? And it's like, it's pointless. The most thing I'm gutted about losing something like that was like photos and like notes and stuff. You know, I've made notes about ideas or like.
Was this before like iCloud saved everything?
Well, no, it won't have been because like I had the Find My iPhone thing was on iCloud, but I don't think I had it set up to like save photos or anything like that. Mm-hmm. But yeah, London conventions like for that kind of thing, brutal. I know Jason at what is it now? Edinburgh convention. He had a guy just not pay him. Like he finished the tattoo. And the guy's like, I'm just going to go to the bank then and I'll be back. And he's like, yeah, that's cool. He's like, trusts everyone. And then it's just like the guy never came back. So he's like, that guy didn't come back. Like owed him like 600 quid or something.
God.
He's just gone and just been like, I can run away here. So what they did was when they got back to the studio, he's just like, Jasmine, like this, his daughter who worked there at the time. Jasmine, just charge like, we took a deposit right on the card. He was just charged that card with the rest of it. And they were like, okay, so she did that. And then they're like ringing up, what the how dare you take this money out of my account? It's like, well, you didn't pay for the tattoo. It's my girlfriend's account. Like she shouldn't. It's like, well, deal with her then.
Yeah.
I'm going to bring the police to you. That's fine. Do that because you stole something. Like, and it's like, nothing ever happened about that. But like, it's kind of like to him, like he's saying, it's like the worst thing about it was he liked the tattoo that he done on the guy. So now it's like, he doesn't really like the tattoo as much because of the guy.
Bad experience.
Yeah. Like, and I've had tattoos by people who then later on did something like weird that I didn't like. Or I've tattooed people who did that, and I'm just like, it does ruin the like experience because it's quite intimate, innit, to do a tattoo. It's like you're spending like all day there with someone. There's an energetic thing going on.
Oh yeah, mentioned the spiritual stuff.
Yeah, see, every time, motherfucker.
There's a lot of trust you have to put into like customers, I get. Cause
both ways. It has to be like a trusted relationship both ways. And this is why, was it the last podcast we said this? Like about that, like the dodgy things. It's like, that's why
like you've got to
trust yourself. And if you've got a dodgy feeling, trust it.
Yeah.
Even if you're wrong and you find out that you were wrong later, you can't go wrong by trusting yourself, like because you at least learn to calibrate your like trust. Why are them two t-shirts different colours? It's irritating. Are they done with tattooing, are they?
They're not? They
are, man. They're right in that tattoo studio where it says on them there, different colours. One's brighter than the other.
Oh, yeah. Have you had many people not paying? Just, I'm going to the bank. And then they just...
I don't think that's happened one time to me. And it wasn't that I'm not paying. It was that man who we don't speak of. Oh. There's a giant man who lives around here whose name we don't speak of because if you speak of him or even think of him, honestly, he comes.
He sounds like a troll or a goblin or something.
Who knows what he is, but like we don't speak about him. Anyone who's from around here knows exactly who it is. He's like 7 foot and he looks through everyone. I think he's legit a psychopath though.
Yeah.
Honestly. I did a Jimi Hendrix tattoo on him and it's like I knew that this was going to happen this way. And he's like booked him for this Jimi Hendrix tattoo and he's like, what did he say now? Like at some point he's like, because I know he's got swastikas tattooed on him by my friend. Right, okay, so this comes to like this current time when things are going on. He makes my friend tattoo him sometimes. And it's like, he doesn't make you. He says things that make you think you're being made, but you're choosing to do it. Mm-hmm. It's your choice still. So he makes my friend tattoo him sometimes. And he's made him tattoo like a Hitler on him. He's made him tattoo like a swastika with flames round it on him and stuff like this. And I think he thinks it's funny. And my friend's just scared of him, honestly.
All right.
So when he's came to get tattooed off me, I'm like, I know this is going to go this way. So I'm just going to like, no, hang on. So he's got wanted this Jimi Hendrix. And I'm like, yeah, I'll be up for doing that. Because I'm thinking, I'm willing to do free tattoos anyway, sometimes, if it's like something I want to do. And I thought it might be a good portfolio piece. So I'm like, yeah, I'll be up for doing that. Then he's like, I've been thinking about that tattoo. Would you be able to like do it as a skeleton instead of have him as like him? I'm like, is that because he's black? Like, and he's no, no, just do him normal then. That's fine. Just do him normal. And I'm like, okay, cool. Because I see them swastikas on, and it's because he's black, obviously. I'm like, if you like the guy, mate, you like the guy. That's fine. You know what I mean? You don't have to put this face on.
That's so odd.
It's weird. But this is the thing. Like, obviously, he's like this big, scary guy, and everyone's been scared of him forever, and no one's spoke to him in these ways.
Yeah.
And I think he respects it more.
Yeah,
honestly.
he's just real with them.
Yeah. But he's not expecting it, so it's a bit weird for him. So it's like, he's like, yeah, just do it normal. Like, that's fine. You're allowed to like black people, you know. Like, it's fine. They're just people, you know. But anyway, I did the tattoo, and then when it was finished, he's like, oh, I've only brought this much money. And I'm like, right, how much am I getting then? And I'd like put a cheaper price on it just because I thought I would be not getting the full amount anyway. Because he has no intention of paying the full amount. Yeah. I knew that. So if I told him the proper price that day, he's more likely to not give us anything. Whereas if I told him like a lower price, he's going to give us some of it, but not all of it. I knew I wasn't getting all of it, so I got 120 quid for it. I'm like, right, okay. Well, like, you still owe us the rest of it though. And he's like, oh, yeah, that's fine. I just need like, you know, for like, I've got a job didn't come off or something. Yeah. I'm like, right, that's fine, whatever. So he went, and then like this may have been the best thing that happened with that situation, because I didn't see him for like a year, because he owes me money.
Well, he came in.
Well, then, that's more recently. But like, then a year later, I saw him in the street. He goes, "Oh, all right, how's it going?" He goes, "Oh, I still need to come and get me tattoo finished." I'm like, "You need to pay for it first." He's like, as if how dare you speak to me like that kind of thing. And I just like made the joke. I smiled at him, and it's like he's like, "Oh yeah, I'll pay it." Like, I just, you know, I've got a job that's supposed to be happening next week, and if that happens, then I'll come. And I'm like, okay, mate, yeah, sweet, have a nice day or whatever. And then he just didn't come. And then I saw him another time, same kind of conversation. Then recently, he came in because Sophie let him in because she didn't know. And it's like he just comes into my room. He's like, all right. And then if my customer's just like, because they know who he is or whatever, it's like, I'm like, all right. It's like, oh. Yeah, I just wanted to see if I can get this tattoo finished. I'm like, you'll have to pay for it first. Pay it first. I've paid you, man. No, you haven't. You owe me this much money on it. We remember talking about this. We've talked about this 3 times now. And he's like, I'll get that sorted. Well, can I not just get it finished? I didn't pay you because there's a wonky line in it. Like, there's a wonky line because you didn't pay us. I'm like, no, joking. Like, I will fix that line. I'm happy to fix it. Like, you're right. There is a little bit of a wonky line there. But I'm not touching it until you pay it, though. He's like, right, okay, that's fair enough, kind of thing. And then he's like, gone again and has never come back again.
Weird.
Where when my friend's just done it out of fear, he has to do it every time out of fear now.
Yeah.
Where I'll never tattoo him again until he gives me that money. I'll always stand behind that. Like, he can beat us up if he wants. Like, because
I don't think he will, though.
I don't think he will, honestly. But I would lose way more if I did the tattoo for him.
Yeah.
It's not worth it. And then there was a time, like, not long after that, where someone was like, what was it now? They were awkward about a tattoo. They'd booked in for the tattoo, left the deposit, and then they didn't turn up. And then the next day, they had the audacity to ask for the deposit back. And I'm like, what? That's not how it works. Well, do you know how my cousin is or not? Like, I'm like, I don't care who your cousin is. Like, and no, I don't know who your cousin is. Then I'm like, oh God, these are going to smash me windows, aren't they? I'm like, here, come and get your deposit back, whatever. Then I told him about that while I was tattooing him. Or lasering him. I might be lasering him at that time. Because I remember him coming for laser. And there was like 40 quid at the time. And he once goes like, oh, yeah, is it all right if I just give you like 20? Because I haven't, 30, because I haven't brought like enough money. I need to get some petrol. Mm-hmm. I'm like, well, not really, mate. Like, it's 40 quid. He goes, well, I've got 35. Can I give you 35? I'm like, go on then, mate. And I give him that for 35. Then the next session, he's like, how much was it? I'm like, 45. And he gave us the whole thing that time, so, you know, back to like square, whatever. But yeah, when I was telling him about that last, he goes, well, you should have given us a ring. I'm like, no chance. No chance. I'm getting in your pocket, like, definitely not.
It would have sorted it out for you, though.
Oh, he would have sorted it out for us, but he'd never leave after that.
Also, might have killed him or something.
Yeah, they'd have regretted it, and he'd have never left here. But like, oh God, I'm pleased it's that way. But you know, and then my friend who like tattoos him, his lass has no fear of him either, and he's very weird around her as well.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he'll go down for the tattoo, and because he knows he's bullying my friend. Like, he knows he's intimidating him.
Yeah.
He knows he's controlling him and that kind of thing. Of course. Then she comes in like, all right, killed anyone lately, like? And he's just like, and he gets nervous around her. And she doesn't give a fuck, though.
Yeah.
She's cool. But we can't say his name. I can't risk it, honestly. I can't risk him coming. I think this was enough.
This is a bit more than enough, I think.
We're leaving the door locked. We have the door locked anyway. There's a strict no psychopaths, no lanyards and no clipboards policy on the shop.
And no masks.
No masks either, because we don't want robbers coming in, right?
Yeah.
We're more into freedom than masks, honestly. That's it. Sorry. I know we're going to get banned off YouTube now for saying that.
I know. I wonder if we'll have that banner they put under the videos where it's like,
yeah, they
get
heard
information
that.
here now.
Yeah, information about tyranny here.
Fuck you, algorithm.
Yeah, take that algorithm, you fucking...
Yeah.
I'm not going to say that word either. Oh, why do we have such naughty humour, Sophie?
I know.
It's only because it's funny because we're not allowed to say it.
Yeah.
Honestly, I think. Like the word cunt is funny to me because people take offence at it. And honestly, because we say it so much, it's not even funny anymore. It was funny when people were offended by it, but now it's like, whatever. And it's not even a swear word, is it? Because it's in a poem that's in like... do you not know about that?
No.
Oh, what? Let me...
Are you more cultured than I am?
Sophie, man, come on. It's like some classic poem. It's like...
Cuntinnapoem.com.
Cunt poems.
Cunt poetry.
You can't, you stupid. Jacob Reeves, is that a poetry? Oh, I don't know what it is. I need to find out what it is. There's like a classic poem. If I remember it, I'm going to put it here.
Well, is it not from like when cunt was actually like a word they used for vagina? And it wasn't a swear
I don't know. Let me have a look at this poem. History of the word cunt. Poems containing the term cunt. 17 poems. That's too many.
History of cunt. The banner on that.
The flower just
the off-centre cunt on the flower.
In fact, history of the word cunt is a time surprisingly the history of the word cunt is oh my God, come on. Is a time surprisingly interesting one. A surprisingly interesting one. Can I read it, what? Contrary to what you might think, the word has not always been used as an insult to the female gender. In fact, the first known mention of one of cunt's earliest forms was in ancient Egypt, in her book, Cunt, A Declaration of Independence. Inga Musco quotes Barbara G. Walker, feminist writer, who talks about... Was feminists still around then? Already in ancient Egypt?
Not in the modern sense of it, I don't think.
Who talks about one of the earliest findings concerning the word cunt, and I think that would be... Oh, right, okay, someone talking about it.
Yeah, I don't...
Would be a useful quotation to supply for you here. In ancient writings, the word for cunt was synonymous with woman. Sweet. Though not in the insulting modern sense. Yeah, see, that's why, good cunt, innit? She's a fucking good cunt, this cunt.
Select your gender, male or cunt.
Yeah. Just have that right on the women's toilets.
Yeah.
An Egyptologist was shocked to find the maxims of Ptah Hotep used for a woman, a term that was more than blunt, though its indelicacy was not in the eye of the ancient beholder, only in that of modern scholar. No idea what that means.
Well, it's interesting because Frigg, the wife of Odin in Germanic mythology, Frigg, that's where she's literally called fuck, pretty much.
Oh, okay.
Because it's like she's like a fertility thing.
Oh, I don't know where that's at. It's like, because that's Stacey Wilkinson had said, like, on one of her talks about that word being in this poem, and it's in like, it's on like I don't know if it's a government website or like one of the newspaper websites or like you know what I mean. It's on like some well-renowned thing. Like the actual word is said uncensored in this place,
right?
Because it was part of this poem meaning a different thing. But
okay, it meant the same thing. It just,
woman.
When it wasn't offensive.
So stop taking offence at it. Literally, stop taking offence at it. It loses all of its power. Like, taking offence at it gives it the power you don't want it to have, innit?
Yeah.
So, all right, later, cunts.
Bye,
I'm
cunt.
done.
Gonna have to do a lot of censoring on that one.
Cunt.